What's up, Bears fans? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham in our podcast studio here on at Chat Sports, bringing you some NFL schedule rumors, some leaks that have kind of dropped as we await for the full schedule release tomorrow. If you want more Bears and NFL content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We, of course, will break down and analyze the entire schedule tomorrow. But I did want to get into some of the recent buzz because we were kind of wondering, will the Bears be in prime time? The Sunday Night Football slot is the only primetime slot in week one that is yet to be officially announced. Well, the heavy leak that has dropped in the last hour or so is that is going to be Lions-Rams in Detroit as Matthew Stafford returns to Detroit once again. That, of course, was a raucous game in the divisional round of the play or in the wild card round of the playoffs last year. So it sounds like they're going to run that one back. Again, not official, but that's been heavily leaked by multiple accounts and multiple people who typically get this stuff right on social media. So it doesn't look like the Bears will be in prime time in week one, which quite frankly is a little surprising. I thought the NFL would want to put Caleb Williams on the big stage in week one. Now, that doesn't mean he won't be in a big afternoon slate game in the opening week, and we'll kind of speculate who that opponent could be, as now you've got Chiefs-Ravens on Thursday Night Football to kick off the season, Packers-Eagles in Brazil on Friday night, Sunday Night Football, if that leak is true, that rumor is true, of Lions and Rams. And then Monday Night Football, of course, is Jets-49ers. That is official as well. So based off of that, it's like, okay, where could the Bears play? Again, we'll talk about who they could play in a second, but I'm just shocked. The Bears get a lot of primetime games. They have the number one overall pick. There's a lot of energy around this team. I just figured it would be a great opportunity to put this team in prime time. Now, from a personal standpoint, I don't really care that much. I would have liked to be in primetime week one. This team hasn't been great in primetime in recent years. Like, hey, let's just take a swing at that head on right away. That doesn't appear to be the case. But my instant thought was, okay, if they're not going to be in prime time, I think the Commanders could be a team that makes a lot of sense. Number one pick versus number two pick. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. Third straight year these two teams are playing each other, but both teams kind of resetting at quarterback here. Maybe that could make sense. Now, at Aussie NFL, who gets a lot of these leaks and is pretty accurate over the last few years, he said there was some chatter that could have been a week one matchup, but that the NFL wants that to be a primetime game, so that's likely going to be a different week. So it doesn't look like it is going to be Bears-Commanders in week one, but that could be a primetime week and a game in a future week, which could we get Thursday Night Football third year in a row between those two teams? That would certainly be fascinating. Never forget my wild post-game rant a couple of years ago when they lost an ugly 12-7 game at home. They, of course, bounced back last year on Thursday Night Football to win 40-20. This year, we'll see when that game is. But if it's not Washington, who's it going to be? Because I still think the NFL would want Caleb Williams' first game to be a fairly big matchup, right? In week one, that's what I would think. So could it be the Texans? Now, I have kind of pushed back on that because they're playing each other in the Hall of Fame game on August 1st. Do they want to have a game that kicks off the preseason also played just over a month later in week one? They could do it. It's not like either team's going to show a lot in that Hall of Fame game, but that would surprise me. But maybe that's on the table. My next thought was, well, how about the Vikings? I don't think J.J. McCarthy is going to be their week one starter. I think it'll be Sam Darnold, and then they'll go to McCarthy at some point in the season. But maybe they go divisional, go Bears-Vikings in the afternoon window, 3:25 Central Time. I could certainly see that being a possibility. You look at the rest of the schedule, could you go Carolina? Not a juicy matchup, but these two franchises have been connected since the trade 2 off seasons ago, which ended up landing the Bears the number one pick in Caleb Williams. They could do that. Other games on the schedule, at the Cardinals, that seems unlikely. At the Colts is an interesting thought. Anthony Richardson, a lot of hype there. Maybe that could be a possibility. Jacksonville, a big rumor there, if we want to get to another scheduling rumor, is that Bears Jags week 6 in London, because it sounds like the Jags are going to have a home and away game there, so they might stay there for 2 weeks. And the Bears London or home London game could be against Jacksonville. That's a possibility. Rams are already taken up because they're playing Detroit. It sounds like Patriots. If we knew Drake May was starting, maybe, but I don't know about that. Seattle, I think they might be playing Denver week 1, and then Tennessee's the other game. I don't know. I mean, San Francisco's on the schedule. They're playing Monday Night Football. Other teams on the schedule, they're already on the books. So I'm kind of thinking Minnesota. Like I do think that's going to be the case. I think if the NFL knew McCarthy was going to start week 1, they would jump all over that at this point in time. But if there's not great clarity there, then maybe they'd push that back, hoping it'd be rookie v rookie later in the season when they play twice. But we'll see. We'll see on that front. In a second, we'll get to the other big Bears scheduling rumor that has circulated over the last hour or so as well. Give you a little hint. You're going to be watching with family and friends. But predict it for us. Who's going to play week 1? Who do the Bears play week 1? Get a prediction down in the comments section below and let us know what you guys think. All right, gobble gobble. The big leak and rumor is that it's going to be Lions Bears on Thanksgiving. Which, look, I don't love holiday games. I like being with family and watching the other games that are on TV. I have a 1-year-old, I'm married, all that stuff. But I don't mind being in the early game. 11:30 Central Time, you get the game in, you eat afterwards. That's not too bad. It makes sense from the NFL perspective. Big time divisional game in the latter part of the season. Could be kind of a pivotal game in the division. So I would not be surprised if one of the Bears-Lions games was on Thanksgiving. So that's certainly, a possibility. And it sounds like that is it's not confirmed, but that's a heavy rumor right now. So don't be shocked if that is the case. There was also some chatter that Green Bay could be playing in the Black Friday game. So we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition as well. Refreshing my Twitter to make sure there's no updates here. So, okay, here's one just coming in. Some London rumors. Patriots, Jags in London in week 7. And then Ozzy adds that the week before, the expectation is Bears, Jags in London. So it certainly sounds like two things are very likely. Bears, Jags in London in week 6, and then Bears, Lions, which I believe is week 13 for Thanksgiving, week 12 or week 13. So we know, at least we feel good about what 2 of the games are. We'll see who else it ends up being. Now, if you're unfamiliar or can't remember the entire schedule in terms of the opponents, obviously 6 of the 17 games are divisional, 2 against Green Bay, 2 against Detroit, 2 against Minnesota, home game against Carolina, road game against Arizona, road game against the Texans, road game against the Colts, road game against the 49ers, road game against the Commanders, home game against the Jags, sounds like that's London, home game against the Rams, home game against the Patriots, home game against the Seahawks, and a home game against the Titans. So as we sign off here and about to call it a wrap, my official prediction for week 1 is going to be Minnesota. I think Bears Vikings seems like the juiciest possible matchup yet. Unless they go Colts, that'd be a decent one. But I think Bears Vikings is where that's going to go. And before we get out of here, quick note. Again, it's not a big deal. It's not even an OTA, but phase 3 of the offseason program's underway, where players are allowed to be in the building and run routes and stuff in phase 3, get actual on-field work. The Bears tweeted out a little social media video of a caption that says building chemistry, Caleb Williams completing passes to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Tyler Scott, Bayless Jones. So, it's routes on air, but man, the release is quick. It's on the money every time. It just looks smooth. It looks smooth. Go check it out on my Twitter feed at HGramNFL. You'll be able to find it right there. It's exciting, man. With the schedule coming out too, OTAs around the corners, around the corner. It's football's in the air. It'll be here before we know it. We are closer to the Hall of Fame game than this past Super Bowl. So we're closer to football season being here than the last season ending. All right, my name is Harrison Graham. Thanks to everybody who tuned in. We'll probably put out a rumors video in the morning, and then we will break down the schedule tomorrow when it either gets leaked or when it's official at 7 o'clock Central Time. So be sure to subscribe and join us for that. Until then, bear down.